thinking about changing locations and shit. Man, get into this motherfucking bag. Stand on the way I made. Sacrificing time for this shit. Man, I got a plan. Tried to tell niggas years ago. They ain't understand. Riding by myself in this coupe. I'm all in my head. Everything in life you can't replace. I build relationships. Pretty little smile make a nigga wanna lock it in. We met the same time I lost a friend. We should try again. You been on my mind. You should hop in. I ain't gon' hurt you, baby girl. You know we locked in. Used to be on FaceTime calls on the regular. Never made time, landed on my busy schedule. Now every time I hit the bay, you know I think of you. Working on your brand, love, you know that I
About Dak today is that veteran quarterback, that veteran experience, going on the road. Nothing's too big for him. That touchdown pass he throws to Cooks early in the game, gets up to the line of scrimmage, recognizes the blitz, actually changes the protection. I think they didn't actually protect the way that he was hoping. He felt the pressure, drifted away, and threw a great route, a little corner route to Brandon Cooks there for an easy touchdown. So talked earlier in the day about why do you sign Dak to this contract? Well, because he has the ability at the line of scrimmage to be the true field general that every team is looking for. He's got great poise and composure in the pocket, and plays like that always exemplify, are you really a master of the system out there? Do you really have a great understanding of what they're doing on offense, what your guys are capable of doing on offense, and then how do we execute that with crowd noise, going on the road, first game of the year? And he did so many things well today. That was just one example of many of that he was in total control today.
No BS. He deserves everything that he deserves. He gets. He never cheated the game. He comes in every day with positive attitude, great work ethic, and he just always first one in, last one out, consistently being the best player you can possibly be. He never cheats the game, and that's the most important part. So when a guy like that gets his money, you say he earned every single dollar. Couldn't be more happy for him. So congratulations, Dak Prescott. You're one of the ones. No one deserves it like you do. And for anyone else, and that's finna get paid or future endeavors, man, congratulations. I would say, man, I was in the room, man. The first person I talked to was Trayvon, and we'll get a little bit more into that. And we were just like, yo, like we was just so excited, so shocked. And, you know, we happy it gets done because now it puts a lot of like talk to the side, a lot of hush. We're like, man, we got our quarterback.
And we are live. What's good with y'all, man? It's your boy, Henny DeMoore, reporting live from the liquor store, man. How's everybody doing today? And, hey, this will be the last time that we talk about the Cleveland Browns. We got another game coming up next week against the New Orleans Saints, and they dropped their 50 points. So we're going to bask in the ambiance of victory. You know, we're going to talk about some of the things that we liked, some of the things that, you know, we didn't like. We're going to grade some players. Then we're going to watch some Monday Night Football, man. So we're going to have about a 40, 50-minute show. We'll break down some things, talk some numbers, and we're going to get out of here, man. But salute to everybody that slid into the liquor store. I know it's a Monday, but it's a victory Monday. So we can all, you know, we can all take that, man. My boy King Tut talk about the Madden curse is real. Yeah, I saw that Christian McCaffrey got injured and will not play tonight against the Jets. So listen, I never wish injury on any player. You know, it's not that deep. It's just a football game. There's bigger things in life. But, you know, the 49ers losing this game bodes well for the Dallas Cowboys. And them not having their best player, you know, that, you know, you lose games like that not having your best player on the field. So I hope for a speedy recovery for Christian McCaffrey, and I still hope that the 49ers get their ass kicked. But, hey, salute to you, King Tut, Desmond Ironman, Daniel Barrera Sports Highlights, Jose, Fish82, my boy Justin Kitchen with the 6 championship trophies in the building. You know what I'm saying? Salute to all y'all good folks. And listen, I'm not saying that the Saints are like that, but I take every team that we play seriously. Because, listen, the Cardinals weren't like that, and they kicked their ass, right? So I take every team that we play seriously. You know, I break them down with the same level, you know, the same level of intricacy every time, because at the end of the day, everybody out there are NFL players. All these coaches make good money. All these coordinators make good money. So I respect my opponents. You know what I'm saying? I respect my opponents, so I'm gonna give them the respect they deserve, right? But let's go ahead and talk about this, man. And listen, I'm not gonna take too long to talk about it because I ain't gonna be on here long. But y'all know the usual rules and regulations when you tap in with your boy Henny. Make sure you run those likes up. Make sure y'all run those shares up. And you want to help keep the lights on in the liquor store so we can keep making content. Hit that Cash App or hit that Super Chat, man. It goes a long way to help your independent content creators out. But without further ado, though, man, let's go ahead and jump to the content. So, really what I want to lead with, though, right? What I want to lead with is this. A lot of people are looking at Dak Prescott's numbers from this game, and they're trying to say Dak Prescott did not play a good game. And that just contextually is not true, right? And listen, I did the legwork. I broke down the numbers for y'all on Dak Prescott's performance last night. Now, his final numbers were not great. His final numbers were under 60%, right? Dak Prescott's final numbers at the end of the game were not great numbers. But I want us to use context of what we actually seen and what he actually did out there. So to start, hey, what's up, Pops? I see you. Everybody say what's up to my daddy. He in here on my stepmama page, on my mama Paula page. Y'all say what's up to Big Henny. Well, to Senior. He don't go by Henny. He go by Ace. He said, shout out to you, Henny. Monday, we beat the brakes off the doo-doo Browns. Facts, man. So, listen, Dak Prescott started this game great. I want proper context when we talk about what actually happened out there against the Cleveland Browns. So, Dak Prescott started that game 12-17 for 140 yards and a touchdown. So, to put that into perspective, he had a passer rating of 114.83, and he completed 71% of his passes to start the game. Does that sound like a quarterback that was playing bad, right? And at this time, when Dak Prescott was 12-17, we had just went up 14-3. Ezekiel Elliott was laying on his back in the end zone because he had just ran a touchdown in, right? 14-3 in complete domination of that football game. Let's go even further, right? Well, Henny, you're really nitpicking. That's a real specific point in time that you picked out to say Dak Prescott was playing well. Okay. Let's talk about Dak Prescott's entire first half of football. Because that what the next one is going to show. His entire first half of football. Right? Dallas Cowboys went up 27-3. Right? We went up 27-3. Kevontae Turpin ran back the punt return after we forced pretty much a 3-and-out from the Browns on their first possession of the second half. Dak Prescott and them didn't even see the field. It was 27-3. At that point, when the Dallas Cowboys went up 27-3 over the Cleveland Browns, Dak Prescott was 13 of 19 for 144 yards and a touchdown. No turnovers. So that's a 68% completion percentage and a passer rating of 108/22. Knowing what you know, knowing that Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys were already up 24 points over the number one defense in the National Football League. They were already up 24 points. Did you really believe that the Dallas Cowboys offense needed to go back out there and sling the ball all around the yard? Especially given the fact that they could not, the defense played so well, given the fact that the Browns could not simulate any kind of offense. They didn't need anything from the offense in the second half. Like, they probably could have handed the ball off for the rest, right? They probably could have handed the ball off for the rest of the game and came back to the same result. Dak probably didn't even need to try another pass attempt, and we probably would have still blew this team out. It was already a blowout. So before then, we had the offense open. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, they were attacking the offense down the field. There were numerous attempts of over 20 yards before the game was out of hand. And then after that, the only thing that could have actually got the Browns back in the game would have been a pick six. It would have been a strip sack fumble return for a touchdown. It would have been something goofy, a deflected ball, right? A batted pass that ended up in the hands of a corner or a safety. So really, Dak Prescott played a great game. By the time he got back on the field in the second half of the game was over. The game was over. Without their tackles in the game, there was no way possible for the Browns to get into a drop back passing game and for Deshaun Watson to throw them back to victory. It was over at that point. It was over. So I get it. The final numbers for Dak Prescott weren't great. He only had 23 yards in the second half. That's 23 more yards than we actually needed. So I don't want y'all to get caught up in the final stats. I'm the stat man. We got to contextualize some of that stuff. We watched the game. We saw what was happening. I don't care that Dak Prescott and the offense did nothing in the second half. They did. We beat this team by 16 points at their crib. The last touchdown they scored was at the very end of the game. It did nothing for the outcome of this football game. This game was really never close after the first quarter was through with. So yes, if you are just watching the box score, you can say, man, Dak Prescott didn't have a great game. But if you look at the actual numbers of when the game was in doubt, when they needed points, when they needed to go up and down the field, they did that. When they needed to throw the ball down the field and get completions, they did that. When they needed to score touchdowns, they did that. Right? So I don't want y'all to, as the numbers guy, I don't want y'all to overvalue what the final box score said. The advanced numbers, when you look at the numbers of that first half of offense by the Dallas Cowboys, they were magnificent. And remember, this was the number one defense in the National Football League just last year. This was a defense that only gave up about 13 points a game at the house. Dallas Cowboys offense scored 26. They didn't even really try in the second half. You mean to tell me they doubled up on the Browns what they normally give up? They normally give up 13 points and you score 26 as an offense against one of the best defenses in the league still. A defense that still got Myles Garrett. A defense that still got Delpit. A defense that still got Zadarius Smith. Dalvin Tomlinson. A defense that still... Man, come on now. This is one of the best defenses the Dallas Cowboys will play all year, and your offense was perfect in the first half. So don't get caught up in watching the final box score. Dak Prescott and the offense were magnificent in the first half. If you want to give them, listen, if you want to grade them for the whole game, give them a B. Give them a B. Because it was an A. It was an A in the first half, what they did, and then you could say they were bullshitting the entire rest of the second half. So, you gotta fault them for that if you want to, whatever. But that first half at least gets an A. It gets an A. I don't care what they talking about. Look at the first half production. Look at the first half production. You put up 20 points on the road, right? You put up 20 points on the road against one of the best defenses in the league. You were on pace to score 40 if you hadn't called the dogs off. So, yes. Boy, where your mama at? Talk about some pussy ass boy. That's your mama. That's your mama, because your mama a nigga too. Your mama can suck her own dick. Bald-headed bitch. Fuck nigga. Fuck you talking about, boy. Playing your mama boy pussy, nigga. Fuck you talking about. Wrong with niggas, man. Shoot this bitch ass nigga in the head, man. Mods, use that tool. Shoot that bitch ass nigga in the head, man. We rocking, man. It's Victory Monday. Fuck Nelson Garcia. All them other niggas over there living in the house with you. You in your mama basement right now. Fuck everybody in the house with you. You said, you're right, brother. This was one of the best defenses in the National Football League. I believe this Cowboys defense is top 3. Man, this Dallas Cowboys defense might be top 2, and they might not be second with the way they playing. I saw real linebacker play from the Dallas Cowboys, man. I saw real linebacker play from the Dallas Cowboys. I saw Eric Kendricks get 2 sacks. a bunch of hits, tackles for loss, got an interception off a deflection. He was in the right place at the right time, reading his keys. Like, I saw real actual linebacker play from the Dallas Cowboys, man, and I love to see it. Matter of fact, the defense as a whole was phenomenal, man. The defense as a whole was phenomenal. Look how stressed out Deshaun Watson looks, man. Look how stressed out Deshaun Watson looks, man. That man looked befuddled. That man don't know what the hell going on. Peep this, man. 11 tackles and a sack with a tackle for loss and 2 hits by Overshown. Kendricks had 9 tackles and 2 sacks. Tackle for loss, a pass deflection, 2 hits. D-Law, 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 4 quarterback hits. Parsons, 4 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 5 quarterback hits, and a pass defense, man. Nealon even had him a pass defense and some quarterback hits, man, to go along with all those pressures. Like, this defense might be one of the best units in the National Football League by the time the year is over, man. Like, and listen, let me ask y'all, if you were to grade this defense, what would you give the defense as a whole? Don't even do individual players, because there was a bunch of guys that had flashes. Amazing football. Trayvon Diggs played amazing football in his first game back. Listen, your safeties didn't even have to do anything. Listen, your safety didn't have to do a thing. Safety was chilling for most of the game because Deshaun Watson could not fall back and attempt any deep passes to threaten the deep areas of the field. So your safety's chilling. They probably ready for a challenge. They probably got bored out there, man. But there were so many good defensive players, man. What would you grade this defense based off week 1, man? Man, Dono caught a body. Like, I forget who that was. He came through and knocked out, man. I think that was Jerry Jeudy that he slipped. Man, he knocked you know how you say you be seeing stars, you get hit hard enough. He saw stars, man, and not just the stars on the Dallas Cowboys helmet. And you love to see it, man. If you had to give him a letter grade, man, put it in the chat box. If you had to give a letter grade to the Dallas Cowboys defense based on what you saw and based on the numbers you seen the day after, would it be an A plus, or an A minus? Because I'm not letting you give them anything below that. You got 3 options. Is it an A plus, an A, or an A minus? Because I'm not letting you give them anything under A. I'm sorry. I don't give a damn. So which one are you choosing? I'm asking y'all in the chat. A plus, A, or A minus? That's how well they played, man. Beat by money, which I wish I was. I wish I was beat over the head with a couple $1 million. Like Dak Prescott. I wish I got beat with $80 million up front, just like Dak Prescott did. My boy said an A. What about y'all, man? I want class participation out here, man. A plus, ain't no doubt. Trey Fargo said an A. What my boy DeQuincy said? Hey, DeQuincy, it ain't gonna be tonight, but jump on the game tomorrow. We'll run another one, man. And if anybody want to catch some L's in NCAA, right? Y'all want to play some college football? Jump on and catch some L's. Tap in with me sometimes, man. I don't mind playing y'all folks, man. If you enjoy football, we get it in. What my boy DeQuincy say? Let me slide in here, because I didn't even see my boy in the chat box. He said Dallas defense been good for the last 4 years. We see this every year. Defense start off fast, offense mid. Playoff come, defense burnt out, offense never show up. Well, listen, DeQuincy, I'm going to let you make it today. I'm in a very wonderful mood, my brother. I'm in a wonderful mood. So I will say this. Defense had issues before. Like, there was a way to beat the Dallas Cowboys defense consistently, and that was through motion, and that was by running the football. They did not handle motion well. They did not handle the run game well. They really didn't handle running quarterbacks well either, right? If you look at the numbers and statistics, overall advanced analytics, you will find that to be true. This game, the Dallas Cowboys held the entire Browns offense to 93 yards rushing. That's including Deshaun Watson. That's including Jerome Ford. And by the way, Jerome Ford ran for over 100 yards against the Ravens last year. He is not no slouch at the running back position. He is a guy that should have had 1,000 yards last year had he got the opportunities before Nick Chubb got hurt. Ended up with over 800 yards, averaged 4 yards a carry. He's a good running back. He got speed. He's explosive. He's elusive. He's all those things, right? He's a good running back. Dallas Cowboys defensive front completely shut them down. The only positive runs they really got was on calls that came back from holding. There was so many tackles at the line of scrimmage, tackles for loss. Like you forget that they had a pretty good running back. Like normally when we preparing for these teams, I get goosebumps thinking about the running backs the Dallas Cowboys will be playing. Right, I was concerned about playing Aaron Jones in the postseason last year. I was concerned about playing Ty Gurley when we played them in the Rams. I'm always concerned about Christian McCaffrey in the 49ers run game. If the Dallas Cowboys defense can continue, man, what's up, man? Mafia, I got you, bro. Let me go ahead and give you your wrench, man. You know, Mafia been holding it down for a long ass time, man. Mafia been holding it down for a long time, man. Hold on. Add as a moderator. Welcome back, bro. You ain't gotta welcome him to the wrench gang, cause he been wrench gang, man. But salute to my boy Mafia. He had to switch the name and switch the channels. It's Mafia Productions. So make sure y'all go support my boy channel, man. Make sure y'all go support my boy channel. He be coming with the bets and the picks. So tap in with my boy Mafia, man. But yeah, man, so point being, like if the Dallas Cowboys have actually figured out how to stop the run, if they could continue to simulate pressure the way that they did, if they can get after the quarterback the way that they did, this will finally be a complete defense, right? Because listen, to be a complete defense, you got to be able to stop the run, you got to be able to stop the pass, and you got to be able to stop them from scoring. That's a defense that wins in 3 phases. Because there's 3 phases of defense. It's the run game, it's the pass game, and it's your scoring defense as well, man. Right? Those are the 3 aspects of defense. We've seen the Dallas Cowboys be good in 2 of them. We've seen it be a great scoring defense and a great passing defense. We have not seen it be a great run defense for a very long time. If they're finally at the point where they're a true, complete defense, I don't give a damn. You can stamp it. If we can stop the run, we're gonna do what we're gonna do, man. If we can stop the run, we can go as far. Because offensively, I trust them to eventually get it together. Even in the Packers game, the offense scored on 3 straight drives in the middle of that game. They scored right before the end of the quarter. They scored and then they scored on their first two drives in the third quarter, right? So final drive before halftime and the first 2 drives after halftime they scored. They scored on 3 straight drives. It just so happened the game was so out of hand it didn't even matter at that point. So eventually your offense finds the groove for the most part, right? Outside of the game where Tony Pollard got hurt. If we can keep games close. If we can turn teams one-dimensional like they do to us, right? Because eventually, a lot of times it devolves into Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb trying to make something happen. If we can do that to other teams like we did to Deshaun Watson, we'll see that all the time. Because I don't think there's too many other teams that got a front like we do. They got a DeMarcus Lawrence. They got a Micah Parsons. That hell, now you talk about what Overshawn and the other guys do in your front 7. You might have one of the best front 7s in the National Football League. I don't even think that's hyperbolic at this point to say that. Hey, listen, we gotta take it one game at a time, but we just talk about week 1. I'm impressed with what they did week 1, and I will tackle the animal of the Saints tomorrow. And I give all opponents that we face equal amount of respect because they are professionals. But we can bask in the obvious of victory and be proud Because remember, I'm not trying to put us in the Super Bowl right now. But they did not pick your team to win. They did not pick your team to win. 70% of the folks on Fox picked the Browns to beat us. Vegas, who's supposed to know everything, had the Dallas Cowboys as road underdogs against the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns were an 11-6 playoff team from one of the toughest divisions in the National Football League last year. They had the number one defense that only gave up 13.9 points a game at the house. And we went on the road. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb hadn't been in training camp together at all. And beat the brakes off the Browns in front of everybody and their mama. So, yes, I'm happy. I am happy. He said Dallas beat the Chargers back up on Deshaun Bumps. Hey, man, I saw that. Matter of fact, Choctaw, that's messed up, man. Listen, man, Deshaun Watson is having a hard time, man. Like real talk. The man just lost his daddy a couple days ago, and now they bringing more charges up against Deshaun Watson. Man, keep the brother in your prayers, man. Like, that's rough. Like, that's rough to go through all that at one time. Yeah, bro, he like, for real. Like, somebody else is suing Deshaun Watson now. He just lost his daddy. He got more charges brought up against him, and you got people now in the Cleveland area calling for his job. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's rough. It's rough right now for Deshaun Watson, bro. It's rough. So I don't wish that on my worst enemy. The kind of week Deshaun Watson is having. So keep the brother raised up in prayers, man. That's all I can say on that. What's up with you, Tariq? Thank you for tapping in and showing love, man. My boy Flag Football said it was all Tom Brady. What's up with you, Oak Cliff? What's up, man? Yeah, beat by money. It's rough for that boy right now, man. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. I would not wish that on nobody, man. Yeah, hell nah. But yeah, they didn't pick us to win. Nobody picks the Dallas Cowboys to win. And when the Dallas Cowboys do win, then that team automatically sucks. I'm keeping receipts for all of 2024. All of 2024 season, I will be keeping receipts for the folks that have been talking crazy about the Dallas Cowboys. If you picked us to win, I will not allow you to spin the block and try to talk down on us winning. If you pick us to lose, right? If you pick us to lose and we beat the shit out the team you said we're going to lose to, you can kiss my entire natural black ass. I do not care about your opinion at that point. Stay over there and stay wrong. I do not care. You pick against the Dallas Cowboys and we win, I'm not letting you spin the block to talk more shit and to downplay what we did, boy. Not going to happen. But let's continue, though, man. Y'all know how I feel. And listen, I'm going to give, like I said, when we talk about Dak Prescott and the offense, I'm giving them an A in the first half, and y'all can give them whatever you want to in the second half. I ain't tripping. It was 27-3 by the time they touched the field again. They got sent home early. You know how? Hey, y'all ever worked a job and you supposed to work the full shift, but they ran out of shit for you to do? They done ran out of stuff for you to do. So instead of going home and missing out on the money, you just out there chilling, trying to look busy. That was the Dallas Cowboys offense in the second half. Like, they ran out of stuff to do at that point. They ran out of stuff to do. So I'm not even holding that second half against them because you were up 24 points. I just need you not to turn the ball over. That's it. And they did that. So I'm fine with that. Defense gets an A throughout. Defense gets an A for the entirety of the game. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Defense terrorized Deshaun Watson. Defense terrorized Jerome Ford. Defense was out there hitting. They were fast. They were impressive. It did not look like the first game played in a new defensive scheme. It did not look like the first game played in a new defensive scheme at all. It looked like they've been together for years doing that. It looks like they've been together for years, causing havoc like that. I could not tell that Eric Kendricks just got here. I couldn't tell that DeMarvin Overshown missed all of last year with an injury. I couldn't tell. That's how in sync, in tune, and dominant that Dallas Cowboys defense was. Special teams. Listen, man. I'm giving the special teams an A too. Because Brandon Aubrey made all the long field goals you asked him to. He was this close from breaking the NFL record had there not been that brain lapse on the clock, because he made the 66-yard field goal. They just didn't count it because we got to delay a game. And then the Cavonte Turpin, Turbo Turp, punt return for a touchdown. What we all been waiting for. We saw him do it and make the team in preseason a couple years ago. Right? We saw what he did. So I've been waiting to see that for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I've been waiting to see them for a long time. I seen what Turpin was able to do. Hey, flag football. Let's talk about that, because I think I talked about it earlier. Right. So for anybody that missed it, I'm gonna cover it one more time. The Dallas Cowboys passing attack only accounted for 23 yards in the second half. Do you know what happened in the second half? The Dallas Cowboys were up 27-3 in the second half of that football game. Dallas Cowboys were up 27-3 in the second half of that football game. So guess what? In the first half, Dak Prescott was 13-19 for 144 yards, completed 68% of his passes, and had 108 passer rating. CeeDee Lamb had 3 catches for 58 yards. They didn't need to do anything else for the rest of the game. It was over with. They were playing keep away at that point. Matter of fact, the play calling completely changed. We were throwing the ball down the field in the first half. There were multiple completions of 15 yards or more. We completely went back on our shells once we had the game underway. And guess what? I ain't tripping on it. So I'm not really as concerned with the offense as everybody else, because they took their foot out the gas. You were up 24 points on the road against the number 1 defense. You did not need to put the ball in harm's way, not a nan at a time. You probably could have handed the ball off every play and still blew that team out in the second half. But remember, the offense only scored 6 more points. It was still a double-digit victory even with that. Hey, Trey, I felt that way too once we went up 14-3. I felt that shit was over. So, yeah, like, I understand if you just look at the straight-up box score at the end of the game and say, damn, they were struggling. Dog, if they had the same offense going, the same play calls, the same, aggressive play calling they did in the second half, Dak Prescott would have had almost 300 yards passing. He was completing almost 70% of his passes. Matter of fact, to be even more frank, right, when we went up 14-3, Dak Prescott was completing 71% of his passes. He had 140 yards and a touchdown, 12-17. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't need anything from the offense in the second half. They were chilling. And the play calling changed a lot. You can't look at how they called the game in the first half and believe it was even remotely the same to how they were calling the game in the second half. You know what I mean? They completely changed what they were doing once the game was out of reach. And listen, could you argue at some points, man, I don't want to get ultra conservative because all these guys are professionals. I want to run the score up just in case. Right? I want to run the score up just in case. Cool. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to play, try to get more points, I understand that. But I also understand the thought process of Mike McCarthy by calling the dogs off. Because you get to save some plays. You get to keep some plays off of tape that you can use next week. Right? You don't have to showcase that. Secondly, The only way the Browns could have got back in the game was with a turnover. Tip pass for a pick six, strip sack. At least we had a strip sack this game. Myles Garrett beat Tyler Guyton and got a strip sack that was covered by Jalen Tolbert. The only way they ever got back in the game was something fluky and goofy happened. And they called the game to ensure that did not happen in the second half. So, no, the overall offensive numbers for the game weren't great. But at the same time, I like it. And listen, CT, Jerome Ford ran for 100 yards on the Ravens, who had one of the top defenses last year as well. So the Ravens could not stop Jerome Ford. We did, though. DeJuan Jones was starting for them last year. The backup right tackle started for them last year. Right? CT. It's more than one game for Dan Quinn. It's literally more than one game for Dan Quinn. It was not just that game. Did you not remember the Seattle game where the defense got destroyed? Do you not remember the 49ers game where the defense got destroyed? Do you not remember the defense gave up 28 points per game against teams with winning records all of last season? I don't just make knee-jerk reactions based off of one game. But what I am going to talk to y'all about in a one-game sample size when there's only been one game played in the season, right, is what the hell happened. He said, clowns, they suck. My grandma and her bingo hall friends could have beat the Browns. Your grandma would have got her head knocked between the dryer and the washer playing around with them Browns. Browns beat the 49ers last time I checked last year. Browns beat the Ravens. Browns beat the damn Bengals when they had Joe Burrow. Browns won 11 games and made the playoffs. Why y'all all of a sudden snorting powder and acting like the Browns ain't nobody? Y'all got to quit playing, man. It's the Browns. It's the Browns, but nobody picked us to win. It's the Browns. It's the Browns, but they were the number one defense in the league last year. It's the Browns, but they got the reigning defensive player of the year. It's the Browns, but they got one of the best wide receiving corps in the damn National Football League. It's the Browns, but they got one of the best secondaries in the National Football League. Man, stop smoking crack. Put it down. Put it down. Fuck away from me talking about it's just the Browns. Now listen, had the Dallas Cowboys lost to the Browns like how so many people predicted we would, y'all would not be sitting in here talking about it's just the Browns. Talk about it's just the Browns. Stop it. When the Browns beat the Eagles this year, I don't want to hear that shit. When the Browns beat the fucking Eagles this year, I don't want to hear it. Talk about it's just the Browns. Okay. What happened to my boy Mafia, man? And that's what I'm saying, man. We're only talking about what we've seen so far. I've had years to look at Dan Quinn and come up with my thoughts on Dan Quinn. His defense never stopped the run while he was here. Right? It just is what it is. Because he played so much big nickel, they were an undersized defense. It was easy to run against him, and he did not often match personnel. We heard the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills talked about how they were not planning to run the football as much as they did, but they saw that Dan Quinn refused to change personnel, so they just continued to run the ball down their throats, right? Those are actual critiques of Dan Quinn that were accumulated over years. I didn't just wake up one day and say Dan Quinn ain't it. I did not do that. There are multiple games, 3 season worth of games of Dan Quinn's defense for me to nitpick. I didn't just wake up one day and talk shit about Dan Quinn. I still like Dan Quinn even with his flaws. But guess what? They got their ass whooped. They got their ass whooped yesterday, didn't they? With his defensive scheme. I'm just saying. Blew that Super Bowl lead too, didn't they? I'm just saying. Exactly. Nobody said it's just the Browns before the game. There's too many. Listen, I'm keeping receipts. I kept receipts. The national media did not pick the Dallas Cowboys to win. Vegas did not pick the Dallas Cowboys to win. So I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. It's just the Browns. Browns will beat the shit out your favorite team. beat the dog shit out your favorite team. Because they do it all the time. Beat the Ravens, beat the Bengals, beat the 49ers. But it's just the Browns, right? Stop it. Stop it. This that hating shit. I need y'all to listen. Hating is a disease, man. If you are infected by the hate virus, I need you to go see your local doctor, the same one you go get treated for your gonorrhea, right? The same one you went and got that shot from. Go to your doctor and see if he can get your ass a shot for this hater virus that you got. Right? The same one you went to clear up that shit that you caught from that freak hole. I need you to go see that same doctor. Said haters gonna hate. Yeah, I know, man. And they need to go to the clinic. They need to go to the clinic because that's a disease. They cleared up that gunno, but they did not clear up that hating shit that they got. So just pray for them, man. They going through it. So yeah, let's continue though, man. People look, yeah, I know, man. Now listen, they always say the Dallas Cowboys don't beat good teams, but when we beat good teams so bad they look awful, you know what I'm saying? Now they don't want to give us no credit for it. Beat the Browns so bad, you got folks saying it's just the Browns. Like, dog, did they not win 11 games last year? Eagle fans, the Browns won just as many games as you did last year. They beat the 49ers when you couldn't. If you an Eagles fan, don't you get your goofy ass on here and talk about it's just the damn Browns. You couldn't beat, man. He said, I don't give a shit. I don't care either. Stop it, Irvin. I like Irvin, man. Irvin be tripping, man. I like Irvin. Irvin can take a joke. Irvin, you can stay as long as you want, bro. Cause Irvin took the shot and he kept rolling with the shit. We just gonna pray for my nigga Irvin, man. Irvin, you cool over here, man. Irvin. Oh shit, Irvin said he got multiple, man. Ooh. But yeah, man, like, hey. But disregard what folks talk about. The Browns were a good team. They were destined. They were supposed to be a good team this year too. And listen, they still probably will be a good team this year. Joe Burrow and the Bengals got shut down by the Patriots. They got shut down by the Patriots at the crib. I don't think anybody's writing the Bengals off just yet. The Browns got dominated by one of the best teams in the National Football League. We done won 12 games the last 3 years. That is not by mistake. They didn't match up well against us with their backup tackles and Deshaun Watson playing quarterback. Right? They didn't match up well, not having all that personnel together. You know what I'm saying? So you never know, man. You never really know. They could still go on and win 10 games, 11 games. He said, I'm wider than this paper. Oh, you still my nigga. You still my nigga. Don't trip. You still my nigga. He said, Dallas Cowboys are loaded this year. Jerry went all in. Hey, I give Jerry Jones a hard time all the time. You know what I'm saying? I give him a hard time all the time. But when you put a good product on the field, bro, I'm gonna give you your props. They didn't do all the things that I personally wanted, but I'm not a GM. So you know what? HTM Sports, fuck what you talking about sometimes. I got this. You remember Jerry Jones? Jerry Jones said, can't nobody do this shit better than me, man. He said, can't nobody do this shit better than me. And hey, up to this point, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all at Jerry. And listen, I'm sorry for the folks that don't like the format. I do it both ways because it helped the channel grow. More people are able to see it in this format. It reaches more people. No, at the expense of ad revenue, it reaches more people. So that's why we do it. Slim, you can never mess up paying an all-pro player. I'm sorry to tell you this. You cannot mess up paying an all-pro player, especially when paying them frees up cap space. Dallas Cowboys saved over $20 million in cap space signing Dak Prescott. Matter of fact, let me go to over the cap and see if they got the final cap numbers in yet. Yeah, let me see. Let me go to over the cap and see if they got the final cap numbers in just yet. All right, they haven't changed it yet. So when they do, and they change the and they change it over, I'll let you know. But the Dallas Cowboys saved over $20 million giving Dak Prescott a contract. I said they would beat down teams by the third, fourth quarter. They would be gassed. Listen, we dominated up front. I want to see them do it again, right, against a healthy O-line. But I agree with you, man. And the moment I got sold on this defense, more so was when we started getting the defensive tackles in here. When we got the defensive tackles in here, when we started signing Phillips and we signed Joseph, right? And we didn't just sit on our hands to address the offensive line. The defensive line. That's when I felt better about the Dallas Cowboys defense as a whole. Because stopping the run is a two-phase thing. You got to have big space eaters up front, right? And you also got to have linebackers. Well, the Dallas Cowboys now got a very good rotation of defensive tackles. When you think about Mozzie Smith, you think about Joseph, you think about Phillips, you think about Osa Odigizua. That's a great tandem of defensive tackles together. That's a good defensive tackle room at that point. Then you got a good rotation of linebackers now to complement it. I mean, Slim, what season did Peyton Manning win a Super Bowl? What season did Matthew Stafford win his first playoff game? We talk about guys that won titles. Peyton Manning started his NFL career 2-4 in the postseason. It took him a decade to win a Super Bowl. Right? We talking about Matthew Stafford going 12 years without winning a playoff game in Detroit, despite having playoff teams in Detroit. He lost when they had all pros and Calvin Johnson. Right? I know people like to throw out the narrative that the Detroit Lions were always sorry. They had some good teams, and he still couldn't win with those good teams. So I understand people being pressed. You know, folks want to win. I don't like waiting. Right? I don't want to wait for shit. I don't. But I also believe when you got good players, you continue to let them get opportunities at it. I would rather have my all-pro quarterback. Exactly. And they were number one picks. I would rather have my all-pro quarterback continue to get cracks at it than to play musical chairs at the quarterback position. Because, listen, we could be like the Bears. Caleb Williams didn't even look good his first game out there, bro. Jaden Daniels didn't really look good his first game out there. Right? We're still waiting for Bryce Young to look like an NFL quarterback. I would rather stay with the player that can get me to the playoffs and has actually won playoff games. I will stick with them and give them more opportunities than to start over from scratch. You know what I'm saying? I would rather do that. I would rather give Dak Prescott more opportunities. Exactly. Then you talk about, thank you, took Aaron Rodgers a long time. We don't talk about it. Steve Young failed. Steve Young was a top pick for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He failed as a quarterback. Had to go and sit behind Joe Montana forever before he got another opportunity to be a quarterback in the National Football League and went on to win MVPs, went on to do – so listen. I think that we need to stop putting timelines on players and just let it play out. There's been too many instances of great quarterbacks not being able to win until later in their careers. When you think about Rich Gannon with the Cannon, he didn't become an MVP caliber player until the end of his career. So I want to give people the opportunities to at least fail. The Dallas Cowboys just now consistently started making the playoffs. We hadn't made the playoffs in 3 consecutive years since the 90s before Mike McCarthy and the Dallas Cowboys did it. in 2021, 2022, and 2023. We're not consistently going to the playoffs. We go to the playoffs, we miss the playoffs. We go to the playoffs, we miss the playoffs. Like we weren't even going to the playoffs back-to-back years in the Jason Garrett era. I think we might have did it once in Jason Garrett's whole tenure, and he was here a decade. Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott and them has gotten you to the playoffs the last 3 seasons, working on 4. We would have been to the playoffs 4 years in a row if we make it this year. So that's what I'm saying. We need to stop putting our own timelines on players and let it play out. I know it's been 8 years and he hasn't won a Super Bowl. But guess what? At least it happens. Slim, if you look at Joe Burrow's numbers when they made it to the Super Bowl, you wouldn't say that. Joe Burrow added absolutely nothing to some of those playoff wins. That man won a playoff game with 0 touchdowns, an interception, and he was sacked like 7 times. He did absolutely nothing to beat the Titans. Do you know why the Bengals beat the Titans and were able to go to the AFC Championship game? It's because the defense forced 4 turnovers. Like, it wasn't because Joe Burrow was good. Joe Burrow was awful, right? But Ryan Tannehill was worse. That's why they won. We talk about Jared Goff going to the Super Bowl. He had 1 touchdown and 2 picks. His entire Super Bowl run with the Rams. Listen, a lot of these quarterbacks don't do shit in the postseason. A lot of these quarterbacks rely on their running game and their defense, and they make 1 or 2 plays in the entire game and they win. We saw Jimmy Garoppolo beat us without throwing a passing touchdown, handing the ball off. He threw a pick. Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers blew out Aaron Rodgers, and Jimmy Garoppolo attempted 8 passes. What do we be talking about when it comes down to the quarterbacks? Do we forget what actually happened? Do we even watch the games? Do we be watching the games? There's too many instances of quarterbacks playing bad and their team still winning. Peyton Manning is one of the best quarterbacks I ever saw. He threw 7 interceptions in his first Super Bowl run and only 3 touchdowns. He tried to throw them out of games and they still won. That's all I'm saying. I know you're tired. I'm tired too, bro. I'm tired too. But we got to be realistic. I understand Dak Prescott has not always been perfect. He hasn't. There are times I want him to play better. But we're playing in the playoffs. These are the best defenses. These are the best pass rushers. These are the best corners. These are the best defensive coordinators. It's supposed to be hard. Do you know that scoring in the playoffs across the NFL is down? We're asking Dak Prescott to score 40 in the playoff games. That don't realistically happen. You don't usually drop 40 in a playoff game. I know it happened because our defense was that bad, but it don't usually happen that way. Sometimes you got to win a playoff game 12-10. Sometimes you got to win a playoff game 20-19. I mean, listen, you can't complain about somebody other than Dak. You just don't do it. You can't name the good playoff game that Michael Parsons had. You can't name the last time that Trayvon Diggs had an interception in the postseason. Like, I've seen the run Bland get destroyed in the postseason before. Right? Y'all just don't talk about it. I've seen CeeDee Lamb drop passes in the playoffs. You just don't talk about it. I've seen Ezekiel Elliott not do shit in the playoffs. You just don't talk about it. That's it. You can talk about somebody else not playing playing well in the playoffs. You just don't do it. You just don't do it. You can talk about every other player on the Dallas Cowboys and their shortcomings in the postseason. I promise you can, if you try hard enough. I promise you can. Matter of fact, I seen Ezekiel Elliott get shut down. Right, I seen Ezekiel Elliott get shut down against the Rams in the postseason when we got ran off the field. That man, I don't even think that man had 60 yards rushing. That man got shut down, then held out for his money. And y'all ain't never criticized Zeke to the level that y'all criticize Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not sitting here, I'm not going to question your fanhood. I just want to question your thought process. I believe you're a fan, and because you're a fan, I believe that you care, and that's why the losing upsets you. But I want you to open your mind and hear a rise into some of the other things going on with your team. Because listen, we swapped out quarterbacks already, remember? We had Tony Romo, and Tony Romo couldn't get it done. We swapped him out with Dak Prescott, and they were having the same issues. I want you to understand it's more than plug and play with the quarterback position why your team does not consistently win the postseason. If it was that simple, Dan Marino would have won a championship. If it was that simple, Warren Moon would have won a championship. If it was that simple, Fran Tarkenton would have won a championship. But it ain't. It ain't. You know what I'm saying? So listen, I'm finna go in here and watch some Monday Night Football. I'm gonna try to wheel the 49ers to a loss. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I understand. But listen, God is good. We got a franchise quarterback. We got 5 more cracks at it. We got 5 more opportunities to try and get it done in the postseason. Because I guarantee you we're going to make the postseason the next 5 years with the way this roster is constructed and the talent that we have and the level of players that we have. So, hey, let's just try to be positive and see if we can do it this year. We'll worry about the playoffs when the playoffs come around, right? I'll worry about that then. Until then, let's take it a week at a time. We'll break down the players that we have. We'll break down the matchups that we have, and we'll grade them accordingly. And then we'll worry about the playoffs when the playoffs get here. Hopefully, we ain't got to worry about the playoffs until the second week, because I want us to get that bye. So, hey, salute to all y'all for rocking out with me. It's been 57 minutes of fire-ass content. Hit the Cash App on the way out. Hit the Super Chat on the way out, man. But, hey, it's your boy Henry.